Well, hello. Welcome back to the workshops of Wood Spun Round. I'm Doug. I'm glad to have you with me. What you see on the lathe here is a piece of wood. I'd love to tell you what it is. I don't know. It's a piece of wood that I had here in the shop. It's been sitting here for a little while. I think it might be maple. As you can tell, I have already turned it round and begun to shape it. In fact, what I plan to do is make a hollow form. This will be the bottom part of it. I still have to finish the top and hollow it out, and I want to put a finial on this. I want it to come around in a real nice even curve and come on out probably another nearly 6 inches or so. No, maybe not that far. 4.5 inches. A finial. And I want it to be a nice taper from the top all the way down right into this bulbous hollow form. It's already been turned, it's been sanded, it's been waxed, it's ready to go. All I've got to do is do the top and hollow it out, and then we'll do the finial. But I wanted to do this part first just to kind of shorten the video. Most of my videos have been pretty long, and I'm wanting to shorten them down. So this is just, I just did the beginning step. And so you didn't have to watch through that, but I'll show you some of the hollowing, and I'm going to concentrate today on the finial. So let's get started on working this top off, and then we will come back and we'll begin to hollow here in just a moment. Somebody forgot to tell me to put my mask on. Whose job is that today? It doesn't look much different, but it's vastly different. I've got it almost as deep as I want to go. I want to go just a touch deeper, but the sides, I barely started going around the sides. I did most of that with my bowl gouge, and then I used the Easy Wood Tools mini finisher. This tool, it's a CI3. These are excellent tools. These are carbide tip tools. You don't sharpen them or sharpen them very little, and but basically you change the little cutters. This is one of the newer tools from Easy Wood Tools. It's the CI5. It's the hollower #1, or the #1 hollower. It has a little smaller head than or cutter than what the CI0 has, which is the larger diameter. Even the mini has a larger carbide cutter than what this #1 hollower has. It's much smaller, but it will flat eat some wood. Well, I'm going to work at finishing the bottom and then going out toward the sides just a little bit before I get my hook tool in here. But I wanted to show you this tool. It works just like the other carbides. The whole idea is that you hold the tool basically parallel to the floor. You're cutting on center. because of that small diameter cutter, it's able to get in there and really do some fast cutting. Golly, a lot smoother than I thought it would be. Just blowing my sawdust out so we don't get jammed up in there. I've still got a long way to go. I'm still that thick in the side. Pretty thick. A little over an inch to go on to hollow out this outside. But I think, where I want to be in the bottom. I might go just a touch smaller, but I want to work on these sides before I go much deeper. I have got to say that CI5, or the #1 hollower, is a great tool. It flat took the wood out. I've gone back with my it's a CI0, the Easy Wood finisher, and smoothed out the bottom and started around the sides. But then there's a problem. You can only go at so much of an angle, and it leaves a good bit that you can't work on with a straight tool. So I have got the CI3 H5, which is a swan neck, which will allow me to go up underneath this collar here and get this top area and all the way to the corner thinned out. And that's what I'm going to work on now. I don't think I've said it. At this moment, I'm turning at 1500 RPMs. You notice the tool rest is back, and that's because the curved part of this tool cannot be on the tool rest. Otherwise, as soon as you hit wood, it's going to try to turn on you. So I got to get back here to the flat part, and that gives it all the stability in the world. Just clean up the inside of that neck just a touch. A little bit that I can see right there. Felt that sneeze coming, so I got out as quick as I could. There we go. Some lines that I was seeing, I'm getting out. Making that curve. Thinning out that neck just a little bit. All right, we are just about hollowed out as far as we're going to go. I've got just a little bit right in this area right here. We're just going to clean that up. Still running at just over 1500 RPMs. Doing this part as much by feel as by anything. I can't see in there, at least not. Can't see around that corner, but I can feel it as I'm cutting, and I am almost there. Got just a little bit right there, just a little lump that I want to take out. I was feeling that a while ago. Right there. time to blend as I go on both the inner side and the outer side. Blowing that dust out. And you guys would not believe the difference between the last time I checked it and now. I want to come in with my finisher. There's a little nib right in the very bottom. So again, I take the finisher, CI0, push the off button, it'll do what I want it to do then. Oh, no, I made it worse actually. I think I got it that time. Saw it pop off. Oh yeah. Being that this is a hollow form, the inside's not going to get a whole lot of sanding. I am going to blow that rest of those shavings out of there. I am going to sand this opening just a little bit. And let's run it down. That's at 1500. Let's take it down to 750. That's far enough. I'm going to keep this top edge square. Lightly holding with my thumb against my forefinger and allowing the sandpaper to curl around my middle finger. If by chance the wood grabs hold of it, I can just let it go. Okay. Just felt weird. Just getting the inside of this collar and just around the edge. I'm not going down into the side. I really like my fingers attached to my hands, and so I'm not going any further than that. I'm going to fix something right here before I go any further. Use my bowl gouge. I'm just going to make this inner edge just real nice, and I want it nice and straight. Let's get a little more speed. There we go. Pass. I'm just cleaning this up, just barely doing anything with it. Let the tool do the work. Let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, much better. Whatever this wood is, it's very grainy. I thought it was maple, but I've never seen maple have this kind of grain. It's pretty open, making for a very coarse cut. Yet I've got these real nice little thin curls coming off the tool. All right, I can't go straight from my hollow form to a finial because my opening is too big. So I've got a piece of cherry here that I'm going to make a collar. The collar will go on the hollow form, close it up, and then I can put a finial on top of that. This is cherry. turning at 1500 RPMs. And it's in reverse. You can't cut on reverse. There we go. Have to take a couple of measurements. All right, that's just a touch bigger than what I need for the tenon to go in the hollow form. So I know where that needs to be. I'm still not quite round. Still got a flat spot there. So let's take a couple more passes to make that round. And as you can see, I've got a lot to go to make that tenon, so I'm not anywhere near in danger of making that too small. What that bounce is. Just an ornery spot in the green. All right. Take this off. The reason I'm taking it off, I don't normally like to do that, but I want it to fit. I want it to fit well. But just a hair. I mean, just a hair too big. Back in we go. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. That goes in. It's a tight fit at the very bottom, which is kind of what I want. This is going to end, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it in, and I'm going to form it to fit my hollow form exactly. So that's looking really, really good. Next thing to do is to glue it in. All right. Want my grains to line up. And it goes that way and that way. Let's see if I got enough glue on there to do any good. Maybe. By golly, I did. Miracles never cease. Miracles never cease. Around. Adjusting my tool rest, so I'm turning the lathe off, raise it up just a touch. Pretty smooth. Skew is a wonderful tool when you have it sharp, and it does what you want it to. It always does what you tell it to do. Sometimes we don't tell it to do the right thing. And that's when people decide they don't like the skew or they're afraid of the skew. I'm not afraid of it. I do respect it. It's like I respect electricity. My wife would say I don't, but I really do. I've been bit by electricity more than once. I don't like it. Normally there's all kinds of design features in a finial. This one has basically a curve from tip to base. That's all the feature there is on this. That's all the feature there's going to be. Again, I'll tell you why here in just a minute. That was 100 grit, just to get everything to an even base. 100 or 150 grit. Let's just double check it, make sure we got everything going like we want it. Oh yeah. 240 grit. $320 grit. Bring my tool rest back in. We'll get this. I'm gonna move my hollow form just so I don't knock it off. Gotta lower my tool rest. Alright, we'll switch to a different parting tool. My homemade parting tool. You know what that is, right? It off, safe and secure. A little bit of 100 grit just to knock the fuzzies off. Even camphor, chamfer, camphor the edge. Put a little bit of angle on it so it's not flat or sticking out. Little nub off the very bottom. Now I hope this is going to actually fit. And it doesn't. It doesn't. Sand it just a little more. It's going to have this removable, but maybe it won't be. Let's try it again. Tell you what, I'm going to get it in there. It's going to be so tight it won't come out. What I can do is wring that hole out just a little more. Put that in a safe spot. Lock the spindle. Remove that. Goes in my bin with my other former tenons. And the ends of pin blanks. Slow it down. My drill bit again. Oh yeah. And that's what I thought. It would be just a touch big, and that's okay. Okay, what I want to do is find my green. Find my green. I'm going to proceed to glue that in just because. A little bit of CA on the flat, a little on the tenon. Well, it took a minute to come through, but it finally did. When it's set up for just half a second, it doesn't take long. That thin CA is pretty quick. Tailstock out of the way. Now it's got just a little ridge right there. So what I'm going to do is bring my tool rest up. And we'll knock that off real quick. Won't take much. Almost. All right. .60 grit. This is 100 grit. Turn it off. Usual routine. I'll give it an alcohol bath, abrasive paste. Let's see. Getting out of order here. I'll give it an alcohol bath, and that's to get the dust out of the pores. It also gives me a glimpse as to what this is going to look like. Oh, that cherry and pecan. Looky there, looky there. Said before I wasn't sure what this base wood is. I think I figured it out. I think it's ash. The reason I say that is because the pores of the grain are pretty open. And so I'm pretty sure that that is ash. It turned nicely. It is hard. This particular piece, it was a small piece. It was a large branch is what it was. It had a branch or two coming out of it. And that's what some of this dark is here. Wow, that's cleaning really quickly and easily. I swear I think there's sawdust coming out from the inside. There's a hole. right there. It went all the way through. I wasn't going to clean it out. I was going to leave it, but got to looking at it, and it was extremely soft, and it picked out extremely easy. All right, we cleaned it. Next, sanding sealer. Sanding sealer. This is Deft Lacquer sanding sealer. It has been diluted half and half with lacquer thinner. The reason I cut it half is two reasons. One, makes it last longer. It's a little tough to find. You can get it at most Ace hardware stores, but more times than not, it has to be ordered. And they want you to buy, I think they want you to buy a gallon at a time, 4 quarts. So the less often you have to do that, the better. But also, as you can see, it is soaking in and drying very quickly. Lacquer thinner tends to dry quickly anyway, but then when you dilute it 50% with thinner, it just dries all that much faster and soaks into the wood a little deeper, closing those pores, making them more the way you want them to be. It will also raise the grain slightly. I'll take this gray Scotch Brite, 3M Scotch Brite. This is not very coarse, but it's coarse enough that it will knock those little fibers back, giving us an even smoother finish. And again, just like I did with the sandpaper, I'm going to reverse it. This is a non-woven material that is abrasive, non-woven so that it is safe to use on this spinning wood. I didn't think it took, and so I hit the button again. It will not supposed to grab. Even if it does, I'm taking precautions and only holding it basically with my thumb. Even when I put my left hand up here, I've only got my fingers behind it. I'm not really holding on to it with anything but the thumb on my right hand. I'm not holding it all that tight. Just denibbing. And that is as smooth as it can be. What's next? Tell you what, let's do. Haven't done this for a while. We'll do something a little different from what we've been doing here recently. We're going to put some OB Shine juice on here. Another mixture of common materials. It is 1/3 shellac, 1/3 boiled linseed oil, 1/3 denatured alcohol. The alcohol is the thinner for shellac. It's already got alcohol in it, so all I'm doing is thinning it even more, thinning it by half, in fact. So we got shellac, which is a finish. We got alcohol, which is a thinner. We got boiled linseed oil, and some people, including myself, before I started using it, I thought, well, that's crazy. You don't want to mix oil with any of your finishes. It'll make it, they don't work together. Well, it does. The oil actually works as a carrier for the shellac. Normally shellac dries extremely quick, and the thinner you make the shellac mixture, the quicker it wants to dry. So the boiled linseed oil becomes a carrier. And basically what we have done by mixing those three products together is create a friction polish. So I will continue to buff this in. You may have already seen it get shiny. It wasn't all that shiny when I just put it on, but I'm using that same piece of cloth, that same area where I applied the OB Shine Juice to begin with. And I've got it running right now at 1500. I'm going to put a coat or two on at 1500, and then we're going to speed it up. I want it to build a little bit of heat. Shine. There's one more step to this finishing process. I'm going to use some Hamster Sheen High Gloss Finishing Wax. This wax is, according to the label, food and toy safe. So that's what we're going to use as a final coating on here. It does contain some carnauba wax, hardest wax that we know about. The only issue with it, with carnauba wax, is that it will spot from mist, water mist, and it will show fingerprints. So what this will do, what's going to happen is I'm going to buff this with this high gloss finishing wax. I'm going to give it a couple of days and come back, and by hand I will not only apply but buff some microcrystalline wax. I will apply it and hand buff it, and that will prevent the fingerprints and water spots. I don't expect it to get many water spots, but if it's being taken somewhere and if there's a mist in the air, funny thing about that carnauba wax, it will spot even from just a mist in the air. So I'm going to give that just another minute or two. Recently heard someone say they like to kind of rub it in until it begins to tack up. It gets a little tacky, starts pulling on their paper towel. Sounds like a good idea. I've got a couple of spots that are beginning to tack up already. And we can leave it at that 2200. Start with the area where I applied the wax with, and then I'll go to a clean piece of this paper towel. Oh yeah, it's starting to buff already. Starting to make a difference. Just flip it over, go to a clean area. I hope you can see the shine coming back up on this. Turn the paper towel around just to make sure I got a good and clean area. While I'm buffing this, let me tell you about Worldwide Woodturners. We meet on Wednesday nights via Zoom. It is open to anybody and everybody who would like to come. There are no fees, no dues. This is a club for turners, by turners. We get in there. We start at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. As we like to say, just by backing up, dropping the tailgate, telling some lies. We'll spend 30 minutes to an hour just talking and sharing. If somebody has a question or a problem, we talk about that. Sometimes we even start our gallery time in that first hour. Quite interesting to see what people have turned throughout the week and whether they're experienced turners or maybe they're brand new turners. It doesn't matter. We like to see all those projects. They even like to see my projects. And my project, you know, I'm a hack. I'm a hack. But we like to show off and share. We ask questions, and sometimes it causes us to have more questions about a technique. We learn by asking those questions. I'm going to put another coat of wax on is what I'm going to do. This wax has a tendency to, well, like all waxes, it will shine more and more. The deeper the wax is, more wax we have on it, the better the shine will be. And so I'm going to put some more on it. Probably will not take as much as the second coat. In fact, I'm already starting to feel it tack up in some places. Anyway, we start at 6 o'clock Eastern time. The meeting proper gets started at 7. We quite often have a demonstration, sometimes 2. Every once in a while we'll have 3 demonstrations, especially if they're short in nature. Sometimes it's a safety kind of demonstration. Sometimes it's a technique. A few weeks ago I shared the string pull. This coming week I'm going to demonstrate the water drop effect. You may have seen that on my last video. I did the water drop effect. I can show you an example of that. This was my original trial, just a proof of concept. As you can see, it looks like water drops are on there, but that is flat as it can be. It does get water on it at one point, but then that is painted over. Goodness gracious, that's already sticky. It's painted over and allowed to dry, and it's an amazing thing how that comes out. And then I take it the next step, lacquer it so that it is a durable finish, will last quite a long time, and will look beautiful for whoever owns it. I did a water drop effect for the YTCCC YouTube cross channel challenge for March. The theme was April, or excuse me, the theme was April. The theme was water. So again, we're going to go over to a clean area, give this some more buff. I did the water drop effect, posted it not only on Facebook, not only on YouTube, but also on Facebook and Instagram. A lady that I knew in this area several years ago, she's moved away. She says, "Do you ever sell your work?" I said, "I'll contact you privately." Contacted her. She was indeed interested. She wanted a price. I gave her a price. She said, "Are you sure that's enough? I want it." It fit with her, the theme of her decor in her house. She lives in Oklahoma. So that piece has been sold, but it was the water drop effect. I'll be demonstrating that water drop effect this Wednesday night for Worldwide Woodturners. How do you get to it, you might ask? Glad you asked. Let me tell you how. Go to the website, worldwidewoodturners.org, O-R-G. At Worldwide Woodturners is all one word. There is an S on the end. Worldwide Woodturners, all one word, .org. If you scroll down, whether you're on your computer, your tablet, your smartphone, scroll down just a little ways on the web page, and there you'll see click to join meeting. You click that little spot, it's a little button embedded on the web page, and it will take you to Zoom, and someone will let you in. There is no password that you need to know, no special code, no special permissions. You just click on that link and we will let you in. and you can join in the fray. You can sit back and watch a time or two if you like, but the more you participate, the more fun you will have, and you will learn like crazy. I've learned all kinds of things in the several months that I've been apart. Even those more experienced than I am will say from time to time, man, I've never thought about that. Nobody ever showed me that before. We've got a guy in there who is very scientifically minded, and he is sharing some stuff right now that just blows my mind. I don't know that I'll ever use most of it, but if I ever decide I want to do some things like he's doing, he's giving me at least some beginning insights, and I know where to start. Boy, this looks crazy, spinning this fast. And there's a little dark area right here at the top of the ash, and to me it looks like it's a gap. It's not. It's I don't know if it's bark or if it's the cambium layer maybe, but it's just a little dark area that I decided to leave in there before I started all this other. Now, you may be asking, okay, he said he's going to share with us why he's doing this. This is my YTCCC for March challenge piece number 2. I told you my first one was a water drop bowl. I had a wide edge on it, wide rim on it with a water drop. It looked just like that proof of concept piece that I showed you a while ago. It's blue and white, looked like water on top. Very simple technique that I'm going to demonstrate Wednesday night. I wasn't happy with it. Well, I'm happy with it, especially since it's sold. But I wanted to come up with yet another piece, something else that was a little different from the normal bowls that I ever do. I turn bowls about 98.5% of the time. Instead of a bowl, especially with this collar and finial glued on. Take this out of the chuck real quick. I do still have to take the tenon off of here. No problem. What you have there is just one big raindrop. One big raindrop. Well, I hope you've enjoyed watching this. This is kind of an impromptu. I didn't plan it out real good. I just, after I got the hollow form just about done, I decided let's make a video of that. So we did the video on the rest of it. I hope it has not been too choppy for you, that you've been able to learn. Well, thanks for joining me. If you've enjoyed watching this, if you wouldn't mind, go over and hit that thumbs up button that tells YouTube that you enjoyed watching this kind of material, and it'll go into the algorithm next time you're on. If you want to see more of my work, if you'll go over and hit subscribe and then hit the bell notification. You hit the bell and it'll come up 3 options. Go to the top one, that is notify all, or all notifications, something like that. You hit that, and every time I put a video on YouTube, they will notify you of that new video. So do that for me. I'd greatly appreciate it. If you didn't like it and you want to put a thumbs down, that's okay. I don't mind you putting a thumbs down if you didn't like it. If you will go down in the comments and tell me why you didn't like it. That way I can make the best videos possible. I want you to enjoy it. I want it to be something good for you. So until next time, this is Doug, and I hope you're able to spin them around.